From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Scott Wright. Scott, Big 12 play starts this week. I don't know if I can believe it that we've gotten this far in the season, but 3 games in, and there's still a question mark on the defensive side of the ball for the Cowboys, that being cornerback. It was a question coming into the year, these young guys, and through 3 games, OSU really hasn't played a passing attack like they're going to see in the Big 12. What's your sense about what we know at this point about these cornerbacks?
Well, if you look at them, there are some pros. You know, they haven't been called for a lot of penalties. There's not a bunch of pass interference going on. They haven't been burned deep by a big play yet. Now, there have been a couple of times when guys have gotten a step on them, but the quarterbacks that they're playing against haven't been accurate enough to take advantage of those opportunities. We saw one at Pitt where Max Brown overthrew Jester Wee on a go route that was just out of reach. Could have gone for a touchdown. So this is the big test coming up, because Kenny Hill looks a lot more accurate than he was a year ago when they faced him down in Fort Worth. And if they've got some talented receivers, so if they can find a way to beat these corners off the line and get behind them, it could be a rough day. We're going to find out really how good these guys are at this point, I think.
Yeah, TCU, a Saturday afternoon kickoff up there, 2:30, and A.J. Green, Rodarius Williams still the starters. We've seen some Adrian Baker. We've seen some other. Madre Harper, though, a guy that played some in the first 2 games of the year, dismissed. What does that do, Scott, for just the depth of this unit? I mean, he's a guy that had been around for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. And he was a guy that they were expecting to be in that rotation. They were rotating him in with the first team quite a bit. So one thing that it does is it opens the door for Adrian Baker. Mike Gundy has felt like he's been coming along and getting more accustomed to what he needs to be able to do at the Big 12 level, and so this opens the door for him. He played quite a bit at Pitt, and now he's going to see probably even more action rotating in at times to keep those other guys fresh. Now, Green and Williams are still the starters, and they're going to play the majority of the reps, but they like to keep everybody fresh and get everybody into the action. So we're going to see more Adrian Baker. We're going to see a different attack probably when they go to 5 DBs, because Baker was a guy that they were going to try to work in as that 5th defensive back. Now you'll probably see some more safeties like Jarrell Moreau, maybe even Tabo Moniki squeezing in there as that 5th defensive back whenever they do that formation. So it's good for Adrian Baker because he'll get to play quite a bit more. Yeah. It does hurt the depth, though.
Yeah. Is the pressure? I have to think when you've got the safeties that the Cowboys do, when you've got veteran guys like Trey Flowers, like Ramon Richards playing those safety positions, they can only do so much. I get that, to help these cornerbacks, but I gotta think that, I don't want to say pressure, but I gotta think that there's at least some anchoring that they need to do in that secondary as it relates to teams like TCU, Texas, whoever you want to throw out there Big 12 play-wise.
Yeah, it absolutely does, because these guys have seen so much over their careers. You know, Ramon Richards knows what it takes to be a cornerback in the Big 12, and he can help those guys along. Obviously, he had his own struggles there, but he knows what he did wrong, and he can guide those guys along the way, and he can be a veteran voice in that secondary, just like Trey Flowers can, who finally got his first interception in a year and a half the other day, and was really excited about that up at Pitt. So he wanted to keep the ball. He tried to sneak it over the sidelines, but they wouldn't let him do that.
You can only do so much, Trey. Only do so much. All right, again, 2:30 on Saturday, a game on ESPN if you can't make it up to Stillwater, but OSU, TCU, big top 25 matchup. So be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com every day in the Oklahoman.